WWE video games. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be near them like flies on shit because I was not really a gamer, but I was a big WWE gamer, and GTA Vice City because that was the only game I had as a kid that didn't have internet. Yes, but WWE games have a special place in my heart. Oh, by the way, don't mind me not wearing a t-shirt, I'm just one button away from breastfeeding. I don't know why I'm doing this, it's just hot out here. I make videos when I wake up, it's a quick rip-off, whatever the case may be. Let's talk about video games. Some are iconic. When people say greatest wrestling game of all time, they mean Here Comes the Pain and they mean WWF No Mercy. However, there are video games that might even be better, but for some reason people seem to really forget about them. Maybe because it was a game after that or before that, or maybe it was just slightly worse, or just stupidity. Just straight up stupidity and monstrosity. Would you guys buy a t-shirt with the word monstrosity? So today, my beautiful sexy beasts, sexaholics, foreheadaholics, I'm bringing you most underrated WWE games of all time. WWE 13. Yes, I know that a lot of people say this is the best WWE game or one of the best WWE games ever, but here's the thing. A lot of people seem to say that more about WWE 2K14, which I don't know why, because the game is very similar to that, and it has a WWE Attitude Era mode, CM Punk on the cover, and even though I'm still not quite sure which game is better, probably 2K14 because it's more updated, this is seriously underrated. You probably will see that on other lists like greatest wrestling games, but still I don't think that people really give the credit to this game that it actually deserves. It has the Attitude Era mode, it has a nice gameplay, it has an amazing roster from both eras, WWE 2012 and the Attitude Era. It seems like one of these games that everybody would beat their meat to, but for some reason it's kind of forgotten, so I think it's one of the most underrated WWE games of all time. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. So a lot of people seem to really dislike this game. My community, my viewers, you, my beautiful sexy beast, seem to really love that because you appreciate the GM mode. A lot of people say that this is the game where they actually kinda started to mess with WWE games. People didn't like the 24/7 mode, people didn't like the general manager mode, and they didn't like the roster. While I can admit that the roster wasn't the best, I feel like the game was very different from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Better, arguable, but it still had the best GM mode. You can choose between them: Raw, SmackDown, ECW. The gameplay is okay. It has a great era in wrestling where we had Rated RKO, D-Generation X, and just like I've said, most importantly, it has replay value. You can play GM mode all the time and the game doesn't get that boring, and I absolutely love this video game. I don't know why people actually dislike it, so in my opinion, one of the most underrated WWE games of all time. Wrestlemania 2000. So when people say the greatest Nintendo 64 WWE video game, what are they telling me? Yes, No Mercy. I hear that shit, and I gotta be honest with you guys, No Mercy is not even in my top 5 for some reason. Maybe because I'm younger, it probably didn't age as well as it should be. I'm not quite sure. I tried to play the game, didn't really enjoy it that much. Maybe because I suck at these. I will try to make a video about it because I'm playing old school games and I didn't do No Mercy. Whatever the case may be, there's another video game that is very similar to No Mercy, which is Wrestlemania 2000. When the game is so similar but doesn't get any credit, just like WWE 13 and 2K14, I gotta say it's underrated. Wrestlemania 2000 has similar game modes, pretty much same gameplay, similar roster, and it's named after a better pay-per-view. It's named after Wrestlemania, and No Mercy is named after No Mercy. Which one is better, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. No, I'm just kidding. Just like I've said, I'm not the biggest fan of these kind of games, but because it's very similar to the greatest wrestling game of all time, I gotta include this into this video. WWE All-Stars. So WWE All-Stars is a video game where you inject steroids in your butthole, penis, and all the body parts that you can imagine, and you are buff as fuck. But here's the thing. There's this group of people that absolutely love it or either hate it. There's no in between. It's a different video game, and you gotta appreciate the fact that they wouldn't just change like a game into this. They made another game. They made SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 the same year as this game, so people would be happy. So I don't know why people would complain, but either way we still have 2 video games in 1 year, so Why the compilation? Complication? Complainment. I need to learn English before I make videos. I'm sorry. I'm from Lithuania, Europe, so I'm gonna go fuck myself. If I could ask for a sequel of a video game, that would be All Stars with Modern Roster, because this game was unbelievable. It might not be the game that you would play all the time by alone, but if you have friends, which I really doubt, if you have friends, you can give him a controller, you can pick up your controller, and you don't even need to know a lot about wrestling, and they will enjoy that. I'm telling you. I play that with my friends that I really don't have, so I played it with my uncle, and people always seem to enjoy the game because it's very, very fun, and sometimes you don't need the simulation style stuff, you need this Dragon Ball shit that they are having in this game. It's one of these games that I really want to make a video about with my girlfriend. Hopefully you guys want that as well. If you want that video, make sure to click that notification button if you already didn't, and make sure to like this video. I hate myself. WWE Day of Reckoning. So when people say what is the greatest WWE game of like 2004 or 5, they always think about SmackDown vs. Raw series or SmackDown series, because these are on PlayStation 2, the most popular console, might be the best console ever made. Look at this beauty, it's so iconic. But people seem to forget that these were not the only series when it comes to WWE video games, because they used to make different games on every console. Xbox had Raw games, which were I'm sorry if you ever played Raw games. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for myself. I played it on PC. It sucked dick. GameCube had Day of Reckoning and other video games, while PlayStation 2 had SmackDown series and Crush Hour with cars, which sucked dick. Anyway, people seem to forget that Day of Reckoning was the shit. It had cool career mode, while you kinda spent too much in development, but it still was very cool. Gameplay was amazing during that time. Graphics were impressive on GameCube. In 2005-4, it just looked amazing. The roster is good, Ruthless Aggression era, and people seem to forget how great this game actually was. Day of Reckoning 2, same stuff. A good game turned into even better, with better gameplay, better season mode, better roster, and I'm still kinda disappointed they didn't make Day of Reckoning 3. When you make a 2 of a video game or a movie, 3 is a must do. I would go and say that Day of Reckoning 2 is actually better than a lot of SmackDown vs. Raw games, and it doesn't get enough credit. While you will probably see it on a lot of lists that people say greatest wrestling games of all time, it's kind of forgotten by general audience that always think about SmackDown vs. Raw games, or no mercy. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I never understood why people seem to forget about this one. This game is revolutionary. It was the first ever WWE game where you can feel like a GTA character and walk backstage. Who doesn't like that, right? Of course, Wrestlemania is not my cup of tea when it comes to game modes, but there was a lot of work put into, and if you play it for the first time, you're going to have a blast. It was just that damn good. It also was revolutionary when it comes to gameplay. You can do stuff on any table and ladder and steps, and the steps and ladder and table will react. In other games you have to do a different kind of grapple and it looks same every time. In this video game you can just slip, you fall on a table breaks. Sometimes it's like paper though, sometimes it's like glass. It sucks, but sometimes it's very, very impressive, and that's what I really liked about this game. It also looked amazing when it comes to graphics. It was the best looking Xbox 360 WWE game, and after that they kinda changed the graphics to worse. I'm not quite sure, but this looked great. Yes, it kinda looked like they all jumped into oil, but it looked impressive. It's one of my absolute favorite WWE games of all time, and I don't know why people never mention this. And SmackDown, shut your mouth. So when people say the greatest wrestling game of all time, they always say either No Mercy or Here Comes the Pain. And Here Comes the Pain is a SmackDown game. Which game came before Here Comes the Pain? Shut your mouth. No, that's the name of the game. I'm not trying to shut you up. Even though you probably should. Yeah. I don't see how Shut Your Mouth is worse than Here Comes the Pain. These games are very, very similar. While I think Shut Your Mouth graphics look a little bit better, Here Comes the Pain is a little bit too blue. And to be quite honest with you, the more I think about it, if I could choose a better game, I would be missed. I would be missed. No one is missing me. I would miss I couldn't decide. That's what I'm trying to say. These two games are so similar yet so different. Both have great season modes, while Shut Your Mouth has a longer one. Gameplay is similar. Backstage brawlings are amazing in these video games, so it's really hard to decide, and I never understood why people just go deep into Here Comes the Pain's nuts and say this game is just the best game ever, while you still have Shut Your Mouth, which is just as good or even better. I never understood that. These are the most underrated WWE games of all time. Do you agree with that? Let me know in the comments below. If there are WWE games that I actually forgot, let me know in the comments below. This was just my opinion, judging by what people say. As always guys, turn on that notification button if you didn't. YouTube doesn't send videos, so make sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't, go to my Instagram and Twitter. A lot of great pictures of my big ass forehead. The great one. Peace, love and hugs. What the fuck is... It's been a pleasure.